All right, our next section we're going to talk about is portable visual prompts. This one is, if we've ever worked in your classroom, you've probably seen us carrying these around. They are super quick, super convenient,
Hey, guess what, Rebecca? I have mine right here that I actually used in my real classroom.
and you can tell because
Um,
it's falling apart. She
they are
refuses
falling
to
apart.
refuses to let go of it. No, I'm
I
just
do.
teasing.
I
It's a good
love them. They're so
example.
helpful. But putting them on a fun lanyard, I felt like Wonder Woman when I wore this. So it was
You did?
great. And I had totally had a superpower right
Yeah,
here.
I do agree. All right, so portable visual prompts. So we used to have a slide that had Charlie Brown's teacher on it, but now that we're old and nobody knows what that means anymore, we're switching. But just thinking about um, what happens in our classroom if we're not aware of all of our verbal prompting. So if we're finding ourselves continually saying, sit down, stop, line up, line up, you're supposed to be in line up. If you find yourself saying those things over and over again, not only are you probably worn out by repeating yourself, but the students tune us out. All they hear is that blah, 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 blah. So the portable visual prompt will help you reduce your verbal prompt and gain compliance with the student. The portable visual prompt that you see here, I've made several of these, but I always had difficulty in the moment trying to navigate those tabs. But there's lots of different things that you can include in these, and like the one that Daleen had, she had grown that over time. She had a student that was doing red choices and green choices, and so red and green was on there. So just whatever works for your students. But the key is to use these to replace some of those verbal prompts that we say over and over and over. All right, so benefits of the portable visual prompt, like we talked about, it replaces the verbal directions. They're quick and quiet. So again, supportive in a regular classroom, supportive in art, supportive during story time, supportive when your class is quiet and everybody's working, but you want to remind Johnny to stop kicking the table. So like we said, also consistent across all interactions. The portable visual prompts, no matter who's working with the student, if everybody has a copy of these, our message is the same every time. And if you think about some of our students who may still be learning language or emergent in their ability to understand, if I'm saying shh and she's saying be quiet and somebody else is saying stop, but what they mean is to be quiet, then we've got different messages. And so the visuals help us to be consistent across all of our interactions, and they can be used anywhere. We highly recommend keeping them with you. I loved the lanyard, but I do recommend a breakaway lanyard because I have had, some students who were not happy with the direction that I was giving pull on those. So a breakaway is good. I like the retractable ones that you can kind of clip to your waist or just on a ring like you see there that you can keep in your pockets. What would you like
I have another visual that, just as an example, this is really a social story, but it's very small. And so it's just, this one is sometimes I don't get what I want, but that's okay. This could be used in any environment that it's needed in. But just to point out that a social story, something really small that you can carry with you, is also a form of a portable visual.
Absolutely.
And can I say one more thing?
Please.
I remember one day when I was using these in the hallway with a student, my portable visuals. One of the kindergarten teachers said, "Hey, where'd you get that? And how can I get a copy?" So, general education teachers often find these helpful as well. And other like administrators in the building often enjoy having them also so that they can communicate with our students and send them the same message that we're sending. So, your assistant principal, your principal, whoever else is in your building that may need those, your speech therapist, OT, PT, can have a copy of the same thing so that they're giving the same message to everyone. Also, think about sending them home. I didn't ever think about that until I was in an IEP meeting, an annual review, and I was showing a parent, look, these work great. And she's like, where's my copy? Like, oh, yeah, I guess I could send that home. And then they were using it with the student when they were going out to eat at a restaurant. And it was something they could do that, again, was quick and quiet and fairly unobtrusive. and it was giving the student the same message across all environments.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so wrap up this section. When you create these, each visual is a one-step direction. So you can see these, the first one where it says feet on the floor. We got those off the PECS website. Those are really awesome because they're almost indestructible. They'll last a really long time, but they have kind of chosen for you what the directions, if you want to customize, you're going to need to add to that one. And again, you have to teach these. Present the card, make sure the student can see it, and use the level of prompting necessary. So we want the kids to be successful. It's never a trick. Like I said, it's never stand there and point. And I see, when we start using visuals, and I've done that, I'm guilty. Somebody told me I needed to use visuals. And so by golly, I made me some for this little kid that was really trying my patience. And I stood there and did this about 5 or 6 times. And you can imagine how well that worked out for me. You still have to teach it. And if it's not working, then go down your prompting hierarchy and try a different prompt for the students to be successful, and reinforce completion. So tips and tricks, we talked about the lanyards, the retractable badges. Make several sets. Get creative with the pictures. You can draw on them, send them home like Daleen said. And if the student doesn't respond, change the prompt level.
One other thing about getting creative, you can take pictures of the student actually doing the things too. Like if one of them is sit in the chair, you can take a picture of the student sitting in a chair. And often they enjoy seeing their own pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did that. Yeah, do that again. And so it's just kind of like they can mirror the thing that they're seeing themselves do, or a character that they really like. If you can find like Spider-Man doing those things, or whatever their preferred character or
special
TV
interest,
show, or yes, and special interest, that can often kind of pique their interest in using it as well.